Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of How to Live a Confident and Calm Life. I'm your host, Susan Axelrod, the Confidence Coach. Today, we're talking about exercise. Why? This is a topic that is honestly both dreaded and life-changing, possibly even life-saving. I wanted to talk about this topic because at this time, we know more than we ever did in the past, ever did in the history of the world about how and why it's important to tune into what I call a fit life. The way I changed my body started with my mind. And it all started when I realized that I never needed to exercise, but rather that I wanted to have a fit life. That was the beginning of my journey. And I will be speaking about this today with my dear friend and special guest, Nadine Searle, your Calmer Self Coach. Hello, Nadine. How are you today? Great to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you too, Susan. I am well. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. We have a lot to share, don't we? We have well, I've changed my opinion of exercise. I've learned a lot and everything. I know you have too. So we want to share this with everyone, don't we? Because there's a lot to cover, isn't there? So brilliant topic, brilliant topic.
It is a brilliant topic, and this topic came to us as all of our topics to do organically in conversation. Nadine is in England, I'm in Arizona in the US, and we voice text each other. And in our normal course of regular, continuous conversation, every now and then one or the other of us says, "This is a great topic." And when it's Nadine, she says, "This is a brilliant topic." And so that's how we came to this today. And then from the time that we decided we would do a podcast conversation on this till now, I have been thinking about it a lot. And I really do want to start by having each of us briefly tell our backstory about how we used to feel about exercise and how we feel about it now. And then we'll take the conversation from there. So why don't we start with you, Nadine? Why don't we start with how you used to, or in quotation marks, always felt about exercise, and how you feel about it now, and what changed for you?
Yeah, a lovely way to put it, actually, because we do change, don't we? And I've got to be honest with you, I'm nearly 60 now, and I have spent most of my life thinking, I exercise enough. I've got 2 dogs. I've always had 2 dogs, different ones, obviously, in my lifetime. And I walk the dogs. That's my regular practice, twice a day, walk the dogs, that's exercise. I have dabbled in the past with things like Qigong. We know we've talked about this a lot, haven't we? We both do Qigong, yoga, Pilates, gentle exercise. I've never really thought I need to exercise. I've always had a bit of a weight problem. Maybe I should, the word that we don't like to use, be doing more. But I've said to you, Susan, haven't I? And I know it makes you giggle. I don't really like getting hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
So that pushing myself, I've always avoided, and thinking, oh, I'll do, when you're young, you don't think about it so much. I used to walk everywhere, and I thought that's enough, but it makes you think. Life changes as you get older, like you say, things change, your perspective changes. And so I have a different attitude now. So where I was moving, stretching, doing a little bit, it does, as you do go on in your life journey, if you like, then you do realize sometimes you need a bit more. And that has happened to me. I have had trouble with a knee for a long time. I originally hurt my knee when I was ice skating, so I was being quite active. But a knee injury stops you being active, doesn't it? So I've had 3-4 surgeries on it now. It's been going on for a long time. That has always been quite a good excuse not to exercise, but also a reason to exercise. So that's gone in fits and starts in my life that I have used it, but it still is an issue for me. So it plays up a little bit. So sometimes it's swollen and uncomfortable and painful. So again, I think I use it as an excuse sometimes, but it is a need to exercise. So I move and stretch for that reason. But since I've had my cancer diagnosis, that knocks everything out of you. That changes your life, your perspective, your confidence. And I'm at the stage now that I'm looking at rebuilding and actually thinking, right, how do I get my life back, if you like? But more importantly than that, how do I improve on my life and my stamina, my strength, my fitness, my confidence in how I'm going to carry on the rest of my life, because that's what I need. So it's made me think about exercise in a completely different way. And I'm grateful for that. So I did realize, chemotherapy takes its toll on every organ in your body and your physical strength and your mobility. So I was very, very lucky to be offered a wonderful cancer specialist PT instructor. I'm going to name check her because I've checked it's okay that I can say her name. Her name is Nadine. She is a level 4 cancer and exercise rehab specialist. And she is my PT instructor. And I'm so glad I've got her in my life because she knows what I need. I was very scared. I've had 2 surgeries now. After the first surgery, I thought, I don't know how to move. I know I need to move, but I'm scared. Lots of people are scared. I said, with my knee injury, it's a hindrance. She was able to give me that expert guidance, that confidence, and tell me what is safe to do and what isn't, and build that up. Very light weights, but weight training. I've never done that in my life, never lifted a weight and everything. It's quite exciting and it's different. So I'm seeing things in a different way for a different reason. So having that support is, for me, been so vital, and I'm so glad that I've had it. But I've also had from her, especially, emotional support as well, because she understands. She is especially, she works with people that have been through what I've been through. So, and I don't know about you, Susan, but I find, the motivation, the accountability, there's someone that I have a little whinge with her. She always says, before we do a session, we check in. And she says, how are you feeling? And I tell her exactly how I'm feeling, how I slept, what's my problems. I moan, I get that out of my system, and then we go on to that's really valuable. It's lovely to have that. So bless her, she gives me that as well. So that again is something that I'm learning. It's new to me, it's different. I've got to this phase in my life, and as I said, I've never lifted, I've never done anything. So I'm looking at my body on the whole. Obviously working out after surgery, the stretching, what you need, because you've got scar tissue, you've got sorts of things going on. I have actually, after my first surgery, I got a seroma and lymphedema. Now, I'm not going to go into medical stuff, there's no need, but we can want to, they might have had the same. That's swelling. So I need to manage that as well. And that might be for the rest of my life. So again, getting expert support and guidance. I'm going to name check someone else as well, a lovely lady that has come into my life as well. These are all on Zoom. They're not people that I see locally. I do it all virtually, which is a blessing, isn't it?
Oh, even the physical therapist is on Zoom?
Yes. She's not local to me, so we do it on Zoom. I have met her in real life a few times. We've had a few sessions, but we do our regular sessions on Zoom. I'm so grateful. It's so
wow,
good.
That's amazing. Okay, go ahead, continue.
Well, the world that we live in, isn't it wonderful? So there's lovely lymphedema, again, specialist. She's been through it herself. She's had the cancer experience. She's had surgery. She has expert advice on how to massage scar tissue, how to manage things, how to move your, something I didn't even know, myofascial release. Who knows?
Yeah, I know what that is.
Exactly, you do. Yeah, I didn't know. So she again gives me that support, encouragement, that knowing she's advising me on what I can do to manage this that might be for me. So again, another reason to look at movement and exercise. And something I didn't know, Susan, and you probably do, but I want to say it for everyone else's benefit as well. Your lymphatic system does not move unless you physically move. And we need to move that. Everybody needs to know that, whether you've had surgery or not, we need to be moving our bodies, so this is crucial. Stretching is important. Since my chemo, I've had terrible cramps at night. I need to stretch, I need to move. My body has a lot, and I'm bringing it back now, and I'm giving it the care that it needs. So I'm looking at it in a completely different way. And as I say, I have these wonderful people to support me. You as well, you encourage me, don't you? You say you can have good arms. Look at your arms, it's gorgeous. arms, you can have that. That support is so valuable to me. So it goes straight into my heart. And I'm so grateful that I get encouraged and supported, because I've had body image issues all my life. And looking at my body now with surgery, with all the wear and tear of chemotherapy and everything, I'm looking at it in a different way. So it's in your head as well, isn't it? You know, mindset, body, spirit, everything. So that, I've gone on a lot about it, but that's sort of where I was and where I am now. And it is a different experience, isn't it? So that's where I am, embracing something that's new to me, an exercise routine that is going to be with me for life. But the most important thing I would say that it's giving me, that I know I need, is confidence. Confidence that I'm going to age better. I'm going to be fitter and stronger. I need to be. You know, give me the confidence I'm not going to fall over so much, because it's about balance as well, isn't it? And confidence that I'm building up my stamina as well, because I need that too, to be able to do the things I want to do. So it's giving me that. So confident, like you say, the confidence coach, I'm getting confidence from this, but also a bit of calmness, which we'll talk about a bit more, the balance that we need. So we need the confidence, we need the calmness, we need to move. So I'm going to
I mean, you know, this is so good. You know, me and my notes.
I
have almost a full page of notes from this. I just want to say that Nadine and I have had many conversations about the use of alcohol. Alcohol attacks our body. We've talked about that quite a bit, but also brings on a lot of weight. The sugar in alcohol actually gives you a lot of weight. When you're using alcohol, you're not thinking about that, and especially depending on how you're using it. And so I know that for now you're alcohol free, and you have been for many months now. And so that I can't help but wonder if you were still, what you yourself have said, were overusing or maybe misusing alcohol at the same time. You know, none of this story would be as it is. But I don't want to go off on a tangent there. I wanted to say that out loud, because I've learned that that's a part of a story, and especially with regard to exercise. So I had body image issues earlier on. And then I wrote down one question. By the way, I loved when you said, I don't like getting hot and sweaty. And I was like, are we keeping this G-rated, or are we going to an X-rated place? Well, we'll leave that for another conversation. But to the point, you know, you didn't like how it felt to be exercising. And so I wrote down one question, you know, not just to sit out there for a few minutes for people to think about, that came to me as you spoke out your story here. And that was, how do I feel in my skin? How do I feel? Am I comfortable in my skin? How do I feel in my body? And that's where I want to start my story. But before I go to that, of course, we have to call out cancer changed every single thing in your life, to the point where I didn't know about all these knee surgeries. But then you said very certainly, like very confidently and clearly, I am going to go forward in a healthier way. And that's it. Like, now your everything you're doing is for your present self and also your future self. So you could say, dear future self, I'm doing everything I can so that you will be well and healthy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That link to that is so vital, isn't it? You know, I am talking to my future self.
You really are. This is
forward.
This is the perfect example where you said, embracing an exercise routine that will be with me for life.
Yes.
And that's it. And that, that's another piece that leads me to my story, which I just want to briefly share here. Like you, I was active growing up. I also skated. I skied. I had the blessing of parents who could afford to take me skiing. I went to a summer camp, a girls' camp. And so in summer camp, you're very active. You're nothing but active all day. I grew up in a community, again, blessed, where we actually walked to school. We walked to and from school. I had a big yard to play in and so on. But so I never called myself, sorry, that's my phone. I never called myself like active before. I never thought of myself like that. But to the point that we're making here, it was a doctor, I don't even know how many years ago, like 30 or maybe even 30 or 35 years ago, who told me, really changed the trajectory of my life and said, you can build your exercise into your regular life. Yes. So I was saying, like, I'm so busy, I have a career and the children and the dog and the house and the whole thing, and I volunteer, and when am I ever going to do this? Like, when do you think I'm honestly going to be able to exercise? And that's what we're both saying here. When you're younger, more naturally, today we have an obesity epidemic among young children, largely due to food, the cheaper, easier food that they can have, and limited, less availability to go out and play, or whatever use of electronics and so on. But for me, it became something that became important to me. My husband started running early in our married lives together. I don't exactly know when, but also he was always in good shape. And for some reason, all the years of our lives together, early on, it's very early, at some point, he became tuned into eating vegetables instead of cookies or potato chips. And that was something that he carried forth with him. And at some point, I was very blessed with what I call a good package, Nadine. I want to acknowledge my family genes. Some people are born with good packages, and that's amazing. But when I was in my, after the babies, by my early 30s, and the decade of my 30s, all the way to into my 40s, mid 40s, I was probably 20, 25, 30, up to 35 pounds heavier than my normal state of being used to be when I was young. And to the point of the question, how do I feel in my skin? I felt crappy. I felt crappy. I felt, I know this is going to be a shock to you, but I always had high personal confidence. But with regard to how I felt I looked, with regard to my body, I was low confidence. And I felt like I was, overweight. There was a point I got on a scale. Forgive me for saying, I'm going to say a number. This was my number for me. It doesn't have to do with anyone else. It was just a point in time. I guess I'm not even going to say the number. I got on a scale. I was so shocked by the number that I saw. And believe me, I always looked good, Nadine. I'm not saying, I'm just saying for me, I was so, and also when you're tall, on podcasts, I'm nearly 5'7", 5'6" 3/4. So I'm, tall. When you're taller, you can carry more. I was so shocked by that number. I was really distraught and became depressed, like, from it. So at some point, my sister says, Susan thought herself thin. That's what my sister Laura says. Susan thought I heard her telling somebody that one day. I walked into her house and I heard she had a friend there, and I heard her saying, oh yeah, my sister thought herself thin. And I was like, that's weird. What's she talking about? And the truth is, at some point, as I began to gain control of my mind and my thoughts, and understand how thoughts are things and you can control things, and understand how mindset transformation is the greatest blessing of life. It saved me, it healed me. And to understand that I could think any thought I want, and I could choose those thoughts. And when you choose thoughts and you focus on them and so on, and that's when I think I did begin to choose different thoughts. So, it's hard to go back and know if you're telling the actual real story, but for sure, 100%. I was on anxiety medication for 7 years, from the time I was 39, I think. And of course, sometimes that medication makes you gain weight, right?
Yeah.
And by the time I wanted to get off it, my doctor told me, if you want to get off this medication, get yourself to a gym.
Yeah. Mm.
And then for some reason, I guess I was so motivated, I did. So I was into my mid 40s already, mid to late 40s, that I started doing this. And I just started going to the gym. And to the point you made about the arms, and you said, oh, Susan said, you can build your arms. I basically realize now, I'm 62. I did just get started, and I have never stopped, even though there have been long stretches of time I haven't gone to the gym, like 4 years, for example, or whatever. There's a mindset. And that's what you shared with us. You shared with us such a definite purpose. It's called definiteness of purpose, the mindset of embracing an exercise routine for life, that you realize how you're changing your life going forward. People who have heard our podcasts have heard more than enough of how we have shared personally and deeply, and how you had a younger life in a certain way, and now you were struck with cancer, and now going forward, this is going to be a part of your life. I do mean it when I say, if you want good arms, or is this or that, start, if it's stomach weight, start walking and never stop. If it's arms, simply take a 5-pound weight and start doing, building your shoulders or whatever. And that's kind of how it's been for me. When I was turning 50, I was in an emotional thing because of aging and all that stuff. And I asked my daughter, Rebecca, who was who wanted to be a personal trainer, if she would work with me to run a half marathon. And so in my 49th year to 50, or maybe it was 50 to 51, I can't remember, she took me to the gym, and she trained with me and taught me about the use of weights that you talked about. And I think it was my 51st year, I ran a half marathon from couch, it was amazing. And, it's been a lot of years since then, and I've come forward differently. And, so the thing about exercise is, right now, I'm just going to true confessions. Like, I got hit with a sciatica episode. I haven't been to the gym in a few weeks. It's on my mind, I know. But here's what I want to say today for anybody who's listening or viewing this podcast conversation. And that is, I have this mindset, just like I heard in you with definiteness of purpose, which is a Napoleon Hill expression. I have a mindset. I have no worries that I haven't been to the gym, because there's one thing I know. There's no doubt, I'm 100% certain I will be back in the gym.
Yeah.
And the gym means many things. I also am in physical therapy. I wanted to let you know, if you want. I had no idea you were talking about a PT on Zoom. That's crazy. That's amazing. Let's get both of those people's names down in the comments. Send me their contact information. So I am in physical therapy for my sciatica, which is a gym, so physical therapy is hard work. So, again, I think this conversation is important. We both came to our exercise in different ways. I wanted to say, I'm sorry, I'm talking a long time now, I know also, but I just want to say one thing, Nadine, about feeling the skin you're in.
Yeah.
When I say this to you, I can feel the memory. I have muscle memory of a day I had 2 young children. I was in a JCC. It's called a Jewish Community Center, where my kids were in maybe after school, or I don't know why I was there. And my husband's best friend then at the time said to me, he made a comment to me about how great it would be if I went to the gym. And at that moment, because I was fluffy, I had those extra pounds on me, even though I was still gorgeous. I mean, I was totally gorgeous, but I was gorgeous with extra weight. And my husband didn't talk about my weight. My husband only talked about my weight if I complained about my weight. But I can still, even though I have a great body now, I work at it, I say it out loud, I claim it, I call it in, I'm not saying I do it this minute because I have many extra pounds on me from from before, but it's the way I see myself now. And that's what I want to speak to people about. Do you know what I mean, Nadine? The muscle memory of how you feel. Do you know what I mean about this?
I so do. I so get chills hearing you say that, actually. And I'm glad that you came back to that. How do I feel in my skin? Because I realized, my reluctance to get hot and sweaty, to exercise, to look at my body even, and recognize it and actually see what was happening. I wasn't doing that. I was hiding. I was very much. And again, people know I've had 2 surgeries now on my breasts. They're not the size they were. They're a lot smaller. And now, I can't hide behind my big bust anymore. I did, but I'm curvy. I'm this, and that's an excuse, isn't it? I can carry those extra pounds. I can say the same. I can look back to being curvy, still feeling gorgeous, getting loads of attention, but overweight. Now I have less bust. I can't hide behind that anymore. That is vulnerability. That is, I'm getting more comfortable in this different shape, size, everything, but I didn't realize how much I was uncomfortable with it before. That's the thing as well, reflecting and looking at that. So that again is, I'm dealing with the, like you say, the mental side of it, the body image and everything, but from a new perspective, in a new way, because this has changed through surgery. And I think you said once to me, didn't you? You carving out a new body for yourself. And I've kept that in my mind because actually those words work for me. I'm shaping this. I'm making this happen. It might sound a bit brutal to some people, but the surgery has happened. That needed to happen. That was to get rid of the cancer. And now I'm looking at my body in a completely different shape. I've got less bust. I can see a tummy that was hidden before. I'm having, I'm out, it's out there. I can't hide it anymore.
Oh my God. That's amazing. I can see. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, go ahead.
It really is. So I've got to deal with it. The universe is telling me, here we are. This is what you've been hiding. Everyone knows that I've talked about I hid behind my long hair and everything. I'm being exposed now. Now is my time to deal with it. I've got to. So, but I can, that muscle memory that you say, thinking about how I felt about myself, recognize it, honoring that. Actually, I'm having counseling as well to get me through this. And a lot of what we talk about is honoring who I was, who I am now, accepting. And that makes it easier to do what I'm doing. Like, we joke, don't we? I don't like getting hot and sweaty. You said to me, that might be because you're carrying extra weight. And actually, I do know when I exercise and when I feel a little bit toned, I can feel it on my legs more than anywhere at the moment, more toned and everything, then I do feel more comfortable in my skin. Everything moves a bit better. As I say, the movement, I'm oiling all my joints. We need that, don't we? So I do feel better. So I can actually look at my skin a bit more, look at my body a bit more and go, yeah, gradually my muscle memory, my mindset is changing. I am learning to love myself more and get more comfortable looking at myself. There probably was a time, Susan, to be honest, when I would never look at myself in the mirror. I would do my face to do my makeup,
right,
but I wouldn't look at my body. I was not going there. That
wow.
kind of thing. And that's not, I'm sad about that. That makes me really sad that that's how I didn't look at myself. I was going to say looked at myself, but I wasn't. Now I'm getting used to my surgery scars and everything. I'm looking at myself. I'm doing that, looking at my body while I exercise. That's one of the things about doing it on Zoom. There's no hiding. I can see myself while I'm doing it. Oh, goodness.
Well, either way, if you're in a gym, every gym that I've been in has a wall of mirrors.
Yeah. Not the gyms I chose. Not the gyms I chose. See,
I
wouldn't
see.
look at I would always look at the instructor and go, oh, I must look like her. No, I didn't.
Oh, that's
so again,
interesting because okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
how you can if you choose to. So I love that you brought it back to that. And it is really, again, I'd like to you touched on it a little bit before, and just to make it clear as well, how important exercise, movement is for our mental health. It's so important. We need that so much, getting out in nature if we can, but just moving anyway is so good for us, isn't it? And it helps our mind, I would say, as much as our body, isn't it? And it's so important.
I mean, my doctor, when I said I want to get off the medication, he said, get to a gym.
Yeah.
And even though all I did in those days, if I'm recalling correctly, was go walk on a treadmill at the gym. My husband was at the gym all the time, like 6 days a week. But all I did was walk on a treadmill, like go to the gym, walk on a treadmill, if I recall correctly. And then I was like, rocked it, Then later Rebecca came home and later she got me using weights. Now I love using weights. But I really want to say this. Exercise / movement is good for our mental health.
And it is.
So you and I have both been very vulnerably revealing about our mental health crises, episodes, issues, dealing with it, facing it, working through it, wanting to change it, coming to a different place, being crones as we are today in the second half of life and sharing wisdom. I can, and again, as we said this, I can feel that muscle memory of how sedentary I was. In my work, I was at a desk and then I would sit on a couch and, the big joke was Howie and Rebecca would go out, work out to the gym and Sarah and I would sit and eat, like on the couch. Now, thank God, Sarah, also my other daughter goes to the gym. She's working with a personal trainer. And I do know it will be with her for life. So I want to just come to this, phrase, fit life. And I want to ask, what does it really take to get to it and keep at it?
Yeah.
And today we've shared, Nadine got more to it from her cancer diagnosis. I got more to it from an extreme mental health decline. And I'm wondering if in this conversation that we're having today, especially for younger people, but also for anyone, if anyone else could be motivated to imagine creating a fit life for them without having to be, go through a cancer diagnosis or have a mental health decline. Do you know what I mean?
I so get it. And I'm so glad that you pointed it out, because without a doubt, there are some people, and some people might think it's a bit cruel, but I've had it said to me, it's all right for you. You've had this almost like an epiphany. I've had this forced on me. I didn't make that choice, and now I have a different mindset. And as I say all the time, I'm grateful for that. That's good. You've had it if your doctor said that to you, and obviously it hit home to you, you need to exercise. You took that on board and you did something. So we don't want our lovely young people to have to wait for that moment. There is a way that you don't have to. I always make things hard for myself. We don't have to make it that hard, do we? So I would like to really pick up on this fit life idea. I'd like to say, to start with, small goals, small steps, build up. We don't have to be running marathons. Yes, you built up to that, that kind of thing. Sometimes people go, I can't never do that. It's too much. Same as me. I can't do weights, but I can do the little weights that I've got. I never knew. Who knew I could do weights, and I will build up and I will have small goals. And I really, really say it's very important to celebrate the little wins. I've done that today. Yay, I'm good. That kind of thing. That's why it's lovely to have the support of people around you, isn't it? So that's really wonderful. But also, again, it's a topic for another podcast, I know, how music can help you. A bit of music, having a jig about. I'm doing a little kitchen disco in the morning. That, Susan, because I share it with you a lot. Moving about to a bit of music makes me feel good. It's not an exercise as such, but I'm moving. I'm enjoying it. That helps my mood. It lifts my spirit. So that helps. If people want to just go, let's put a bit of music on, have a jig about. We don't have to be good at it. We don't have to book a class. We don't have to schedule that time. It doesn't have to take long, but we've moved, so that's another way that can work. Music, I find really helpful. But I'd also like to say something that came to me after my last knee operation. Saying positive affirmations while you exercise. There might be a name for it. I don't know. But actually what I did, and I took that, this was before COVID in real life, and I took that with the lady that I was doing Pilates with anyway, and we created a class together called Positive Power Pilates, working with ladies where we worked out moves and we said positive affirmations while we moved. The power in that, Susan, I cannot tell you, it was amazing. We cried our way through the sessions because the emotions were being moved and released. You know, I trust my body, my back is strong, things like that. You know, we worked out, the group worked out the wording together. We did the movements together. So the lovely Pilates lady, the expert on the movements, I was talking about like what we're feeling, what emotions are coming up. These are the words we're going to use. You know, we created this wonderful routine together. It was so powerful, so powerful. So I would say as well, people that are struggling with exercise, maybe don't be looking at the soap operas while you're doing it. Don't distract yourself. Engage in the movement. Look at your body, feel your strength and your power. Say something out loud, because that helps you, that motivates you. And I honestly believe it makes the exercise work better. As I say, it came to me from my knee rehabilitation, and it was, you know, I trust my knee, I'm healing, I'm looking after myself, those kind of words, while I was doing my exercises. And I felt powerful and I felt strong. And I was grateful for being able to release some emotions while I was doing that. So that again is the helping with the mental health as well as the physical. It works together. So that was a lovely thing to be able to do. But I'd also like to say as well that it is important to get that balance. I said earlier about the confidence and the calmness. This is the balance, isn't it? You know, the balance of having rest as well as exercise. Because as well, you know, if you understand a bit about hormones, and again, I'm learning so much all the time, exercise will raise your cortisol levels sometimes. Sometimes it lowers it. Depends what you need and how you use it. But we need a bit of both, don't we? We don't want to be in a stressed state all the time. You know, we don't want to be. I used to work with a lady who used to jog all the time as a stress release. But she came to me going, it's not working. I'm not getting stress release. And I said, well, we need to relax as well. We need a bit of both. So that was a difficult one to teach her how to fit in some relaxation in her day-to-day life. But she understood she needed it, and we did it. And she does that balance. So that kind of thinking, yes, I will exercise. But again, we don't have to push ourselves too hard. We can lie down too. I have a lovely exercise routine, and then I have a little relaxation. I love that. I do a little meditation. My lovely Kate Oldham, who I mentioned earlier, who's the lymphedema expert, she does her movement, getting her lymph system moving. Then she lies down, and then she actually goes, I know it's all working because I've just alivened it all, and it's all working while I'm resting.
Visualizing.
Yeah. How beautiful is that she does that? She mixes it in, and I'm sure she won't mind me sharing. Well, I've shared it now because she shared that with me, and I was quite touched by that. I thought, what a lovely way to do that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, she's done enough movement. Now she can lie down for a bit, and it's still working, because it does. Your body still burns calories if you're looking at that. You know, if you've moved, if you've built muscle, your body is working much more efficiently, even when you're resting. Joy, you know, who wouldn't want that? So that balance of mind and body, moving, goals, pushing yourself a little bit if you want to, you know, achieving something. Don't forget to celebrate, but don't forget to rest. You know, it's that kind of thing. I when lockdown happened, a lovely lady that I know who does Pilates online, she used to do it in classes. She went online with COVID because we all had to, didn't we? And she said to me, can you do a little bit of relaxation at the end of my Pilates class? And I said, happy to. So she'd do her lovely 45 minutes of Pilates. And then at the end, everyone would lie down, and I'd talk them through a guided meditation using what was going on in the seasons, whatever was going on, you know, just going with the flow, you know. And that was beautiful. I loved doing that. I was honoured to be asked to do that. But it was, again, that balance. People have exercised, and then it's like, right, and it embeds it, doesn't it? Do you know, that kind of, we've just done that work. Now I'm lying down, I'm honouring, I'm grateful, I'm celebrating that I've done it. You know, take that time to rest and recognise as well is really, I think, very, very important. So hopefully what I've just said there will help young people go, oh, it doesn't have to be so hard. Maybe I can fit it in my life. You know, there's lots of little ideas there that they won't work for everyone, but they might have heard one thing that will help them on their way.
So I'm not okay with hearing just one thing. I'm not okay with that. Like, I'm done with that. That's an old patriarchal construct. Oh, if you get just one thing. I wrote down 8 things, And on the podcast notes, I'm going to write down the 8-step formula that you just talked out. I don't know if you heard how quiet I was, not interrupting and saying things and asking. I was writing down, take small steps, create small goals, then build up from there. Be sure to celebrate the little wins, use music to support you, say positive affirmations. Don't just engage with it. Don't distract yourself. And then remember balancing exercise with rest and relaxation. So I'm not okay with just getting one thing, because that's not life. We need more support than that in life. Here are 8 little easy things that any person can, hear, process, integrate, and apply. They don't. Yeah, they don't have to do it all.
Ignore what I said. It's not just one thing. Actually, we can fit those in. Can I just add a little bit? Because I did say it earlier, but if you're doing a list, can I just add, get support, join a group, get someone to motivate you, whatever, get an accountability coach. I know you can do that, Susan. You do it for me. Because that helps as well, doesn't it? Someone to share that with really helps, because when you're not motivated, people say all the time it's lack of motivation, isn't it? But you only get motivation when you start. If you take one step, you are motivated. You won't get it lying on the couch doing nothing. You will get motivated when you start to move. And sometimes you need someone else to help you with that. So reach out to someone else if needs be. So I know I said a lot of words there, but you could put that.
No, that was good. Get support. That's a really, really good one. Definitely, and then you said one of the greatest lessons that I've learned in my life, also completely, totally, utterly transformative for me. And you just said, the motivation comes from the doing of it. So you said it's hard to feel motivated lying on a couch. And I have the muscle memory in my whole body that's actually makes me feel inside emotional. I could, reveal that I remember those days that I wanted to be more fit. Again, Nadine, people look at me now and be like, oh, you're so fit. But this was 30 years ago. And I remember the time of the wanting, the wishing, the wanting, the wishing that I could go to the gym with my husband, that I could be more fit. I remember telling myself, I can't do that. I don't have time for that. I could feel the muscle memory. Well, he has time for that, but I don't have time for that. I have to do all these things. And I could feel the memory of the yearning that I had to be more fit, to be able to, whatever that all meant. I don't need to put more words to that. I can feel the yearning, the excess weight in my stomach, my thighs per se, but most deeply the yearning to wish that I was more fit and could do it better, and so on. And yet, people who meet me today are like, damn, honey, you look good, for 60. And we're here today to share these stories to 30-year-olds and also our fellow women and men who are 50 or 60. There are things that you can do. And so I added the get support, which is absolutely vital.
Sometimes it helps, doesn't it?
Somehow the mindset transformation that I learned on my own journey to enlightenment, on my own personal journey of transformation, the mindset is everything. But I want to call out, Nadine, everything in our world today is conspiring to steal our minds and steal our brains. Everything in the world today is conspiring to steal our minds, steal our brains, and instead have thoughts like, well, Susan could do that, but that was a long time ago. Like, I could never do that. Or Nadine could do that, but, she's whatever, I could never do that. And I think, you and I would agree, we know what that feels like.
Yes.
And we're here showing up, having this conversation, putting it out in public to say, there could be a different way forward. I have an energy finding me, Nadine, of people in obesity. I'm well aware of this. People, at that level, having depressive thoughts, like that could never be me. And I want to go back to what you said about movement. You said, any movement matters. You said your specialist said the lymphatic system doesn't move unless you move it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you said, you talked a couple of times about any movement matters. And I'm 100 million trillion bazillion times in agreement with this. The impetus that I learned after the mindset, management, the mindset transformation, was the way I feel in this moment becomes the way I feel in the next moment. The way I feel in that moment becomes the way I feel in the next moment. And I have energy from you. We've talked so much. We know so much, about your former way you felt in that moment. And then from those bad feelings, then you feel bad, and then you feel worse, such that I can't look at myself in the mirror. At my body. So a few things: A, the mind, the thoughts that we create; B, the impetus. I have it. Sometimes I am human, Nadine. I'm not a robot, and I'm not a superhero, even though I am in my mind sometimes. And sometimes I sit on my couch inert, lacking agency and impetus. But because of the overall concept, I live a fit life. And also I have dogs in my life.
Yes.
Basically, eventually, as you said, also, we get out and walk the dog. Movement matters. Movement can be life-changing. Of course, I know about your kitchen disco, as you call it. You said in step, which step was it? Oh, it's 5, all the way back here. Use music to support you.
Yeah.
And that is cool. And so this conversation is so good. It's so important for someone who has a lot of extra weight, and they've had the knee surgery, and they've had, all the things conspiring against them. There is like an idea, maybe I'll walk, down my driveway and back, a little bit of movement. And I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, but I just want to say where you have the affirmations up here, say positive affirmations. It's no coincidence at all that several years ago, I had an idea. I danced. I don't know if you know that, but I danced for like 8 years. And and I wanted to do a dance class with the dance studio owner, doing the exact thing that you just talked about. When you said that, I was like, oh, damn, that's so good. Yes. I trust my body. I'm healing. My back is strong. I'm looking after myself, you said. That was so good. I did that when I was running, Nadine.
Yes. Yeah.
I did that. I did that exact exercise to start running. Like and I would repeat it over and over, and I'd be like, my toes are strong, my feet are strong, my ankles are strong, my calf is strong, my knee is strong, my leg is strong. I literally did that. It's not stupid. It's not ridiculous. It's not, out there. I remembered that whole memory of like, oh, I can feel my feet running on the pavement, saying those positive affirmations. Like, I can do this. I am strong. Like, I feel so emotional at that, about how beautiful and amazing. I'm so glad that you said that out loud and shared that and reminded me of that thing. It's so good. This is just so good, Nadine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It is, I mean, what you're saying there is what professional athletes do, isn't it? They visualize their goals, they win, they're positive, they know they can do it. I mean, someone said it to me about positive affirmations, because sometimes we struggle with them, don't they? Twist it around a little bit. You know, when you're going, I can walk up that hill, and you don't believe it, you actually twist it a bit and go, why am I so good at walking up that hill? I can do it. You know, you can just tweak it a bit, play around with this, you know, get some help and ideas from someone else if you want, but we can do that ourselves as well, you know. And I've shared with you, and probably on podcasts, I don't know, that I did a fire walk years ago.
Yes, yes,
Who
yes.
knows, you know, how can you do this? I have no idea how it works, how you don't hurt yourself, how you don't burn your feet, I don't know, but you can do it. And we spent, as a group, there's about 40 of us doing it together with someone leading us, getting confident, getting happy, getting, you know, feeling really good, getting all that positive energy going between us all and sharing that. And I honestly believe, Susan, that all we needed was to take that first step. We didn't need anything else. That's what we did. We got ourselves in that state of mind that we could actually go, I'm going to take that first step. The rest just happens. So getting back to that, you know, you can just do one thing. The rest will flow. Trust yourself. You know, that's the motivation, isn't it? Just go, I'm going to do one step, you know, and the rest will happen, because that one step is the hardest one, isn't it? You know, and I still don't understand. You don't need to understand how a firewall works, and you don't get burnt and damaged, but you don't. But that has given me, remembering that gives me so much confidence. You know, you've got your memories. Everyone has some to dip into, or make them now, you know. So, and remembering, again, you said about the time, we haven't got the time. There's this phrase, isn't there? Einstein time. You know, we make our own time. We can manage our own time. Again, we have got time. When I work with people with meditation, they always go, I haven't got time. Once they start a practice of meditation, there is more time. It's magic.
Yes, it's true. It's true. It's true.
If you fit it in, you make more time. You know, people won't believe us until they do it, but try it. Do 5 minutes. You won't have lost 5 minutes. You'll have gained 5 minutes. You know, try it and see little steps, get on it.
Right. And you will have gained 5 minutes of your life. I mean, I'm so on board with that. I in my personal, you know, transformation, I had no time. Oh, so busy. Couldn't do it. Didn't have time. And I learned this over an intentional, committed decades of inner work, that you do get more time into your life, because you spend less time being anxious and more time being calm, and you're, you know, everything settles and everything, you know, it's like you have more time. I totally absolutely agree with that. The adrenaline is one of the things that we don't need to talk about the physiology behind all of this, but there is adrenaline, you know, with the fire walk and with me with the running. And I remember the day I said to Rebecca or Howie, maybe, I think I got endorphins today. Like the first time that I felt those endorphins, the runner's high that they say, and damn, it was awesome. It was really good.
It's so good. And those are feelings that, you know, we can all get, we can all have, and they do us so much good, and they motivate us and keep us going, don't they?
Right.
So it really is.
To be clear, I only ran one half marathon when I was 51. I ran many 5Ks. I did do many 5Ks. I did walk a half marathon just last year. That was like easy for me because walking is my life. So it was like literally my friend and I only walked and talked for 13 miles instead of 2 miles, you know. So that was really good. But you know, mostly I get up and in a week's time, I go to the gym a few times a week, and my friend and I go in the accountability that you also talked about at step 9, get support, get accountability. If my friend isn't going, I'm like, oh, I'm probably not going today. And sometimes we say the win was just walking into the gym, and, you know, sometimes we go for 20 minutes and we talk more than we lift. But in a fit life, you do that every week, and things begin to add up. And that's really where the question says, what does it take to get to it and keep at it? For sure, 100%. Accountability absolutely is part of keeping at it. In my case, I wanted, that was all those years ago, more than a decade ago, I wanted to do the half marathon, but I had Rebecca, living at home with me as a personal trainer and other things now. The accountability definitely does matter. But the one thing I learned from Rebecca, my own daughter, said to me, I don't want my mother or my boyfriend to be my accountability partner. And so having your live-in person be your accountability, reminding you like, hey, did you walk today or did you work out today? She was very clear on that as a personal trainer. So
I think that's wise.
I think somebody else.
Different relationships, different. But I think, you touched on it earlier as well. And I think, again, just to highlight, once these things are a routine for you, you fit them in so easy. They're a given, aren't they? You've got your bag packed maybe for the gym. You have that done because they're all excuses, aren't they? But if you have that ready and the more you do it, it just becomes second nature, doesn't it? And this is what you do and it's easier and it doesn't seem to take the time, does it? You do magic up more time for yourself. So all of those things, it's starting doing it. And then it all gets easier and easier, doesn't it? to keep it all going.
I do. I think I'm going to actually make that as 10 since we were at 9. And
I know.
Yeah, 10. Once you're in a routine, it's easier.
It is, yeah. It's like anything, isn't it? Yeah.
Right. It's something about routine and a system because you're right. My bag it sits on the foot of my stairs. It's like it's in the way. It's there all the time. There's a towel in it, my water bottle, my sneakers are on the floor. And if my friend says you want to, do a walk, I'm coming down now. I'm like, which pair of sneakers do I put on? I'm ready to go. Yeah. So that actually is a very, very.
It is, isn't it? If you think about the first time you packed your bag, it probably took you forever and you don't know what you're doing and whatever. But now you can pack a bag or it's already packed. It's easy, no time.
Yes, so and also I often have my bag in the car even.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and, Howie always had his gym bag and that definitely, that's a really big thing, to kind of close out, the sort of 10 simple steps, to create
I love it.
or whatever.
You've created that through me just talking. I love that. You're so good, Susan. Thank you so much.
Right. Well, this has been so good, Nadine. We went way past. Usually we try to do half an hour, but I knew that this topic was important. I wanted to give it all the time we needed. To really support people, to really edify from our own experiences. And as always, we invite others to share their experiences in the YouTube comments or whatever. And so here's to a fit life going forward, Nadine.
Confident and calm life. That's what we have because it all comes together, doesn't it? So that's what we're all having. We all deserve and we're all having.
It does indeed. And we all deserve a confident and calm life. And then we can all make that happen. All right, my friend, until next time, take good care.